wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. Take care of you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful week. Today, we're going to be talking about something pretty interesting. It's a series of mini templates that I've been wanting to build for a while, just to show you guys how exactly we manage our houses within the Family Without Borders initiative. I'll talk a bit about that, but just know that if you ever had to manage a household with multiple people, whether you're in kind of a roommate situation or in a co-living situation, this is a stream that could be helpful for you. So let's get straight into it. So let's talk a bit about what we're doing here. And for those who don't know, basically we in the Co-X3 family have an initiative called the Family Without Borders. Basically, long story short, we're having a series of co-living spaces around the world. We started off in Singapore, in Australia, in Perth, Western Australia. But basically, we wanted to extend the amazing interactions we had inside the Co-X3 family, inside our online community, and bring it offline as well, so that you can have these benefits of these amazing deep conversations and discussions, and just really having this space where kind of have roommates that don't suck. Yeah, we come together, we like hang out with each other, we want to improve ourselves and build on more, and essentially make ourselves really productive, and also just have a lot of fun when we're pursuing our dreams and our passions. So just to quickly, show you the site for that. Basically, we have this site as part of our Co-X3 family website, but just basically shows a bit about the spaces that we have around the world. Again, Primarily, you have two houses right now, one in Singapore and one in Australia. But it's just really, really cool space, and we've been having a lot of fun. But through this experience, and I've also run some Airbnb in the past, I realized what's the benefit of having really standardized and really, I guess, concise documentation on how do you bring new people into your house. What are the house rules? How do we share grocery lists, right? How do we make sure everybody's on the same page as we're living together and making sure that we are making the space as healthy and as vibrant as it can be. So it's definitely really exciting. We're going to be going through a lot of useful templates today. Again, maybe you guys will find bits and pieces that work well for you, but the intention here is that if you've ever had to share a space with someone, an offline space with somebody, this is going to be helpful for you in terms of managing that experience. So definitely excited to go over that with you guys. And hopefully you guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to paste in the chat and I'm happy to answer them. So let's talk about why. The why is we want to create user manuals that make your space ready for co-living. It's useful for those with roommates, co-living spaces, Airbnb, and more, as I mentioned. What are we going to be building? Well, Notion templates that help you manage all parts of your household and reduce the admin work. And then how is going to be important because I think there's actually going to be two parts to this stream, which I think is really exciting. The first part is talking about a public manual for guests, that are visiting your space. So this is for guests. So for example, if we have a outing or a dinner party or something, what do you bring to our space? What are the diet restrictions of the people in the house? What do we have at home? What kind of food do we have at home already? What kind of board games do we have at home? The guest Wi-Fi, how can you get connected? Address, how do you get here? How do you order food to us if you're ordering food, right? And then also a house gift list as well. If you want to give us, a housewarming gift, what do we need in the house? What are we missing, right? So this is kind of like a public manual for guests if people are visiting us. Now, the other thing, which is I think is important, so visitors, the other thing I think is important is the private manual, right? So what's the private Wi-Fi passwords? What are the house rules? How do you use, some specific things like the smart home stuff, right? If you have some specific technology in the house that, may not be as intuitive as you might think to use, how do you use it? A house essentials, right? A shared grocery list, cleaning materials, toiletries, when do we need to refill them and replenish them, right? Making sure that's easy to find. Onboarding, when someone new joins the house, how do you create a checklist of, what's the stuff that they received in their room? Is it in good condition? How do you check in? How do you move in? The instructions on that, booking the elevator, stuff like that. Cleaner expectations, you have a cleaner in your house, ban list, do's and don'ts kind of thing. Offboarding, so move out guidelines. So basically there's like a lot of really cool stuff that we can break down in terms of like having a healthy and sustainable household and really make it into a really cool template that just offloads all the responsibility, or I guess at least all the admin responsibility, admin overhead of managing those things. And yeah, Ben, I'm excited about the grocery list too. I think that one is going to be, let's make that the first thing we build since we're both so excited about it. How about that? So let's jump straight into it. Let's go into an untitled page and let's just go ahead here and make this the master page of where everything will live. So let's talk about this. I'm just going to call it, let's say, the family without borders, right? And then I'm just going to do welcome to our family. And then we're just going to make this like a landing page for ourselves, right? Basically, this is going to be, let's make a page here. We're going to call this one our public page, right? And then this is shareable. Shareable. Oops. And then I'm going to make this one our private page. Let's make this a page again. This is private page. Do not share. Okay, so now we have two pages for us. So then we're going to start mapping out from here. I'm also going to just start adding some pictures and stuff just to, really get some nice feeling into here. So maybe for this image, we're just going to grab an image from our website just so that we can easily grab something. So this is useful. Okay, so let's map out the structure as we did earlier, by making sure that we have everything we want to build. So we want to have basically a public manual. So public page is shareable. So we're going to have a few things. Let's just make it a list first, and then later on we can easily make those into pages. So I'll show you how that works. But basically in this public page, we can have quite a few things I think will be useful. We'll have, I think the most useful things of this list, I mean, these are all ideas, but definitely how to get here, how to, how to get to our space. I think it's important. I think also the guest Wi-Fi is important as well. Let's look at also what we have at home in terms of, entertainment, so people know what else to bring. I think that can be like a good start. I just want to make sure I have enough time to go for everything, especially because I think the private stuff is going to be what's really interesting about this, right? So the private page do not share. This one's going to be about house rules for sure, house rules. And then we're also going to have our grocery list, or let's call this our shopping list, which will consist of our grocery list, cleaning materials, toiletries. Okay. And then I think also really important stuff would be, again, the Wi-Fi, password, information. Let's also go ahead with doing the onboarding. So onboarding checklist. And then let's also add in something like the onboarding checklist. I think we'll stop there. Okay, cool. There's a few good things to now cover here. So what we can do now actually is if you highlight everything and then you just click the 6 dots, turn into page, this instantly turns into a page for you. So you don't have to do like slash page every single time. Very easy. You can just go ahead and make these pages. And let's go ahead and make the shopping list first, okay? So let's make the shopping list first, and let's actually just add some icons as well, just so that I can see them easily. So shopping list, basically here we're going to make a table. We're going to make a table, and then in this table we're going to have a few tags. We're going to have either groceries, we're going to have cleaning, and then we have toiletries. Okay, so these are the different tags that for us, I think they're going to be single select. And then here, basically, we can put, also we can put something like people. So requested by, and then we can put a people thing here, so person. So we can see something like, so for example, a staple of ours is definitely pasta, all right? Rice, chicken. We like to buy minced beef. Let's buy oats, milk, and then we can also add a frequency. So estimated frequency. Estimated frequency can also be a drop down. So basically we can have something like we usually have to purchase this weekly or every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, or monthly. Very rarely is a quarterly thing, but let's also do that. So let's go here. Milk, we'll also put something like, let's put some fruits as well. So I think tags is going to be groceries, but I think we also should have another tag for what kind of food it is. But you know what, for now, let's keep it simple. So we can look at it and say that we want something here like, grapes. We usually buy blueberries, and the whole intention here is just to make sure that we have we don't have to keep guessing what we need to buy. Okay, so bought this week. Um, I think we should do this. Purchase on. So we can either have like a actual table that keeps track of actual purchases, or we can just have like a date that says we purchased this all on the same date. I like the purchase on instead because we can just see like when we last purchased it and we don't have to make it too complicated. Again, we just want to keep it simple. The most important thing is keeping it simple here. So grocery list, our frequency of pasta usually is a monthly purchase. Rice is a quarterly purchase. Chicken is more like a weekly purchase. Same with beef. Frozen veggies is like a monthly purchase. So a monthly purchase. Oats is more like a quarterly or monthly purchase. Milk is definitely a weekly purchase. Grapes, weekly. So stuff like that, right? We can also add like who requested by. So out of everybody in our family, who is currently requesting it. So I think that's also useful. And then when we last purchased it. So I think this is a really good start for groceries wise. So let's make sure that we have some views for us. So I'm going to make a new view. So this default view, let's call this one our groceries. We're going to have a filter here to make sure that I can filter on specifically the tags is groceries. I'm going to have this view filter on if tags is cleaning. So cleaning, let's do this one here. So this is cleaning. So usually we need to buy something like rags. We also might need to buy, toilet cleaning fluid, window cleaning, window fluid. Just do the all cleaning, so window fluid. We might also have something like floor detergents, right? Clothing detergents. Let's also add one more thing that just says runs out. So we can just check box it and say we definitely need to buy this. So ran out. So we can just definitely check it off if we need to go ahead and get that. All these things are usually on a monthly basis anyways, so or more even. So again, these are things that are important. I don't think these are requested by. These are just things that we need. So I don't think this is important, but we definitely want to know when we last purchased it. Toiletries, let's add one more section for that. So toiletries, we're going to add right here. So toiletries. Toiletries is super simple, I think. It's just going ahead and making it into just doing the same thing we did previously. So toilet paper, facial tissues. We might also want something like yeah, what else including toiletries? What else would you guys add? And you guys can see actually this is starting to be useful also for like couples as well. I would say just any kind of housemates in general, whether they be friends or couples, like it's just important like that. So I think another important thing here would be like we can put something like where we can buy stuff. I think that's also useful. So if you have, a preferred place to buy it, like what's the common price? So you might even want to put budget. So just as an example, I might put budget here as well. Budget, or we can say general price guidelines or price ranges. So this can be text. We can just say, what's the general price ranges of this, so we can kind of pass that information along. So usually when I create something that's for shared use, I like to document a little bit just to have people understand what's going on in here. I think the important thing here would be to ensure that it's, what we can do. So, hi, welcome to our shopping list. Make sure if you want us to get something for you on a recurring basis, make sure it is on the list. We try to keep track of when we last purchased a household item. to make sure we have it well stocked. If you notice that something has been used up, please indicate so on in the table. Okay, I think that's something that's quite clear. I'm going to add some nice emojis here, add a cover, just to make sure it's all nice and beautiful. So we have a shopping list, or just call it shopping even. Shopping, grocery shopping, grocery shopping. Something like that. Okay, so that's our shopping list. That's super simple, right? And then you can see how it already can pretty much help you a lot in terms of keeping track of what you need to buy on a recurring basis so that when you go and make those orders, or you're at that store, you can just see, hey, these are all the things that we need to buy. Have they ran out or not? And ones that we last purchased them so we can compare to our frequency and see like, hey, is it time to purchase them or not, right? So what we can do actually is we can even make an additional view if we wanted to and say, time to purchase or not. And I think that's also pretty interesting. And how you would do that, basically, you do a comparison between the date that you purchase and the frequency. Maybe actually, Ben, you're really good at making like a formula like this. Would you like to try? Basically, I just need a formula that compares the purchase on with the frequency. The frequencies being the weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and quarterly, and just making sure that if basically the frequency has already passed, then I need to purchase now, and just change have that word type out. Yeah, if you'd like to tackle that and try that out, I think that'd be really cool. And then we can go over that formula once you have that ready and explain how that all works. Awesome. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and jump back into private page, and let's now talk about house rules as an example. So house rules is something that I already have. This is just a document. So this is basically, let's just make a house thing. Let's add a image of a house, maybe house rules. Let's go ahead and just make that, I guess. And then what we can do here is I can just grab my house rules that I already have. I think it's better this way. And then we can go ahead and grab my image, paste it, keep it clean and sanitary, conserving power, noise, laundry. Let's do H2s, laundry, cooking, groceries, gatherings, shoes, smoking, condo facilities, bathroom etiquette. And then let's also do a table of contents, I think. Perfect. I think that's super simple. You can see all these different things, and that works very well. Perfect. So that's our house rules. I think that was faster than needed because I already had that. So that's really awesome. So back to this, house rules. I think if there's specific like condo facilities to book, how do you manage that? But anyway, let's do this here. So onboarding checklist. So hello, welcome to our home. Here's what you need to know. So let's go ahead and make a checklist. So let's go ahead, sign our contract, sign our membership contract to live, sign our membership contract. So before moving in, on move-in day, duplicate this page into your own private workspace so that you can um, check everything off as you proceed. So this one's going to be they can check it off. I think that's the idea. So before moving in, check a move-in day, um, first week of moving in. So document any damages in the house, in your room, in your private spaces. Join our Scrum meeting. Join your first Scrum meeting. Okay, so before moving in, signing our membership contract, sending first month's rent plus deposit, schedule a move-in day and time with Conrad on move-in day, get the house, get the condo key card, get the condo door passcode / key, get the tour, around the apartment, meet the other housemates, get the condo key card, get the condo passcode. I think that's important. Do your first batch of laundry. Yeah, this is actually pretty clean, pretty cool, and that's basically just breaking it down, right? So we can do all these things. We're gonna do a checklist here. So check, we're gonna make a checklist like this. Add a cover. So change a cover. We're gonna make this a checklist, just like so. And then basically we have this. So move-in day, first week. Make sure that you have received everything. Get the room key. I think that's important. Room key. Document any damages in your private space. I think this should be another document that basically brings you over there. First batch of laundry, I should teach you how to do laundry in general. There should be a video, I think a video guide on how to do the laundry. Your first Scrum meeting, I think that's also important. So let's go ahead and go back to private pages, and then let's make sure that we have those information. So this is more like manuals. So manuals is on this side, and then up here is probably just our general, like very commonly used stuff. So up here, let's just make some information. Let's make our house awesome. Okay, so we have shopping list, house rules, onboarding, checklist. We have our manuals, which includes our Wi-Fi password information. It's going to include Scrum meetings. What are they? It's also going to include let's go ahead and let's talk also about how to use the laundry machine. I think that's important. And then let's also talk about, I guess, getting around. Getting around could be probably, oh, that's fine. Getting around is something we can put here as well. So then we have now a bunch of pages that we can do, and we can see what we can do that. Yeah, so these are additional things. Let me just clean up the rest. So again, Wi-Fi password I think is really just basic, right? But again, if you can definitely have these kind of pages that just help anybody who's staying at your place also be able to use this. So I think what we can do here actually, I think I'd rather use a table. So let's make this table inline. Let's call this one manuals, house manuals. And then we can go ahead and just put this in because I think this just helps a lot. So we're gonna delete these ones. We're just going to make it a list even maybe. Let's just make it a list. I think that's better. So we have a list now that just has the house manual. So for example, and I'm not going to spend your time, showing you how I write all this. This one is just content, so I think that's fine. But what I can do is, as an example, I can go ahead and just paste something like this. So this is our information here, our closest MRT stations, for example, great food nearby for $5 to $10, 10 to 15, and then 20 per person. This is useful information, right? So this is something that we can put here. And oh, hi, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is definitely just important for managing anything in general, honestly. Whether it's a house, but any kind of shared resource that anybody is sharing with other people, I think it's really important. So we can add a bus here. So this could be a bus template. Why password information again? I'm sure you guys can figure that out. Scrum meetings, I just want to talk about this because I think it's really cool. Something that we do in our house that makes our house really special. And I think more houses should do this. More people should do this in general. Basically, I'll just explain this. Every week we get together as a house and chat about the space. The conversation is intended to spark appreciation and discovery about our home and how we can make it better together. So basically, the questions are first, what did we appreciate about the house and each other this week? We go around and ask and take turns answering each question. So what did we appreciate about the house and each other this week? What do we think we could have done better? How can others be helpful for you this coming week, right? So it really gives us an opportunity to first appreciate each other, right? Have this sense of appreciation, then do a self-critique, right? A self-critique of, what you can potentially do better, self-critique. And then finally, how can others help you? And you've already mentioned like how you can help others, how you can improve, and it makes it really easy for other people to jump in and say, okay, this is how they can help you as well, so that it's not blame, 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 blame. I think a lot of times when people jump at like, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't pick up your stuff, like it becomes very argumentative, and it shouldn't be like that, right? We should give everyone a chance to self-critique themselves first and kind of understand like, hey, this is a space we all want to improve and build and make better. And so this is things I can do, but these are also the things that you guys can do, and it's a shared responsibility. So definitely really, really excited about the way that we handle these kind of meetings. So we can basically have that as an example of one of the information. So again, this is perhaps, holding hands. We can do shake maybe. So that's a good emoji. And then you can see basically these are, the basic information of how you can start something, right? Another thing that's useful, just that personally I'm going to find very useful, is basically a page that keeps track of all the inventory in the house. So we can call this one our household inventory. And basically this is going to keep track of, this page keeps track of all of the fixtures in the house that are provided for our use. So as an example, basically, we want to make sure that these items are in good working conditions after use. So this just keeps track of all the things in common area. This keeps track of all the things inside specific rooms, and when do we get them? What's the quality of them? When they were received, and make sure that we get them in the same quality when the tenants are done with the space, right? So as an example, I would have something like a table that would basically break down all of the household items, household fixtures, right? So stuff like queen bed that's inside room number 1. We might have like a table, and then that's inside room I think right now room number 3. We have another table that's inside room 4, and then we have pictures probably. So pictures, so we'll have an image here as pictures. Let's see, it'll be a files and media. And then we have responsibility. We have people here. So again, the idea is that we know whose is whose, and who has a responsibility of making sure that that thing is in good working condition, right? You have a projector as example inside the living area, so living room. We have a couch that's inside the living room. These are all shared responsibilities, right? And just making sure that if there's any damages, we can tell and we can say, hey, we want to make sure our space is as good as possible. These are things that we need to improve on. I think also something very cool is on the shopping list, on top of groceries, cleaning, toiletries, stuff, we could even put something down that says like, hey, this is like what we want to buy. If we want to put our money together, we can buy like a better couch. We can buy another chair, for the living area and stuff like that. So I think it's cool. Just running back to Ben for a second, for the formula for a formula based on purchased on and estimated frequency. I think for us, the use case that I'm thinking of is more like, is it time to purchase or not? Like, should I check the inventory and stuff like that? Rather than predicting a date to do all these things, because again, this is very like ad hoc for us. We might order once a week, we might order once every 2 weeks, depending on how fast we deplete our food. So let me try my hand at the formula then, and we can say, let's just make this notes, okay? And then what we can do is we can make this a formula. So what I think is always very useful is we can basically just have a formula that parses these out first as what does weekly mean, what does bi-weekly, what does monthly mean, what does quarterly mean. Right now I just really like using numbers in the beginning, because this just helps me a lot. So 7 days, 14 days is here, monthly is 30 days. So this is something that I will put in front, and then quarterly is around 90 days. Again, I don't need specific numbers. We talked about that before, Ben. And definitely it's just, I just want to know every 30 days, just notify me kind of thing. So I think what we can do is to number estimated frequency. And then let's see what happens. So to number just makes those perfect. And then what I want to do is I want to add a date onto that. So for example, if all these things were purchased just, yesterday as an example, what we can do here is we can add dates together. So we have a date add thing that's here. Let me just double check. It is date add, right? So date add is, I'm going to add a date, amount, and then a text. So always going to be days. So dates add, I'm going to find the property of purchased on, comma, the number that we just had there, and then comma, days, and then we can close everything. So we have it right here. So then now we add everything. And then we kind of see like that the next time we want to purchase is on these dates. Now, if we want to make it even more complicated, which is really cool, again, I'm not looking for an estimated dates of when I should purchase it because these are going to be all over the place. What I want instead is to show me if these dates are past today, then I should probably look into purchasing them or at least checking the inventory. So what I can do is do a date between, or date subtract can also work as well, but I think date between works. But actually, I think date subtract is probably better. Let's think about it. I don't think it matters actually. Date between, date subtract, I'm always going to get a number anyway. What I really want to know if it's bigger, smaller. So all I have to do now is just say, is now bigger than dates add? So basically what I want to do then is if everything is, let's say, 2 weeks ago, and I paste that down, some of them I have to do, some of them I don't have to. So the weekly ones I have to purchase. If I make them all kind of more than a month ago, then even the monthly ones I have to do now as well. So I think that's really simple actually. So what I can do now is I can add some text to it. So if I add a question mark, I can basically say like, if this is true, if now is bigger than the dates when I'm supposed to purchase it, I need to, purchase / look into inventory. Okay. Otherwise, looks good. So we can do a alarm siren here, and then we can do a checkbox here, check mark. So basically what we can see now is purchase or replenish. So we can have this information here now, and then this can be in the front. And what we can do is we can have now a view that shows us everything that we need to buy. So we can duplicate this, and the filter, instead of filtering on tag or whatever, I'm simply filtering on notes. And if the notes contains the alarm bell or the police siren is what we use, then we know that we need to buy them. So basically this is our list of to purchase. Okay, to purchase. And then this basically shows all of these things as well. So this is really cool, I think. Now we know that, hey, if I'm out right now and I'm available to buy something, these are all things that potentially need buying. And if I buy these things, it will probably be a good idea, no matter if I know they have ran out or not. So I want to add one more thing, or the ran outs is checked off. Okay. So basically, even if something isn't, I don't need to purchase it yet, like rice, but it did run out. So I look at to purchase and it still says I need to replenish. So how I can make this happen even on the formula, I can also have it show replenish if ran out is checked. So how I can do that is, otherwise, if ran out is true, then basically I also want to show replenish, otherwise I show looks good. So let's show that. Otherwise I do looks good. So now this replenish, I want to show you here. I can change that replenish and looks good depending on if this check is check marked. So I think that's really cool as well. So let's go back to purchase, and I'll remove the second filter because I think this first filter already does everything I need to do. And again, I will change all these things because I don't know when I last purchased. Looks good. Ooh, interesting. So these all look good because I don't know when I last purchased them. Again, I can add another if case to handle, hey, if there's no purchase on, maybe it shouldn't say looks good, but I think it's fine for now. I think it's okay. I'll just keep it that way. Um, Definitely, this is something I think basic. And then I think I like your approach as well for keeping track of the current quantity. I think that's just something that is improbable when it comes to like a bigger house, is that someone just picks up some food and then they forget to mark the quantity down. When you're when it's something that you can control, I think that's definitely something important. But I think at this point, for all we need to know is that did it run out, and is it likely that we need to purchase it now? So that's something that we like to keep track of, and it just helps us use it more and more. Um, okay, so that's the private pages. Again, how you can share this, you can just share this with people that are inside your workspace. Just invite them into here and then they can get shared in. So I think that's really, really easy and really, really cool. Let's now talk about the public pages stuff, which I think is also very interesting. So these are the pages where you can share with other people and help them make the best use of any outings that you might have. So as an example, what I would normally do that I think is really useful is I would have, first of all, a document that just, let's say, let's make this a table. So, house invitation, okay? So house invitation is usually like, where I would keep track of all the different invitations that I've given out, and of course, all the relevant information inside there. So something that I would do here is I would do like, so this is status. Let's do this complete as an example, or we can do this called planning. But basically what we can do is, as an example, maybe we had a house, we had a dinner, cozy dinner, which is complete. And then what we can do is I'm just gonna make a template to just show you how I would do it. Again, this is entirely up to you, but if you want to kind of structure and standardize the way that you invite people over, I think it's a good idea. Why even think so hard, right? But basically, what you can do here is you can have, you know, your purpose of the dinner, right? Hey friends, well actually let's just make this into the template from to begin with. So what we can do is new templates, new dinner party as an example, and then we can say, hey friends, just wanted to get y'all together to have an awesome meal. Here's the details. And then here you can put something like, what kind of what's the food situation, right? Food options. So what we can do is I have a few options. We can either do potluck, right? Everyone brings one dish. We can do order in, roughly 20 to 30 per person. We can do, that's actually the only two options. We can also add something like, hangouts, hangouts events. So is it going to be just meaningful discussions? Are we going to be playing board games? Are we going to be playing video games? Right? These are different things that we can do when we're together. And then definitely I would have something like, also like, swimming, exercising. Actually, just call it new hangouts. And then we can call this one time of the day. So time of the day. So is it in the morning, lunch, afternoon, evening, right? So these are all just, templates for you to think about, what kind of event will this be? What are you going to do? And then for the things that you're going to do, how can people contribute to that? How can people help, right? So for example, if I have food options, then I would relate this page, right? Just to show you, I'll relate this page to, the house dietary concerns, right? So we have dietary concerns. So food options, um, dietary concerns will be here as well. And then, um, so I would relate the how to get to our space. So let's go ahead here, turn into page. Ooh, actually, I think this would be really cool. I'm gonna make these into global blocks. Okay, this will be really cool. I'm gonna show you how to use global blocks. I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. Um, so I'm going to make global blocks. Okay, what's the best way to do it? I'm going to make a table for global blocks. Okay, so I'm gonna make a table, global blocks, and then we're going to make one for, okay, let me undo everything because I think it's useful. So table, we're gonna call this one global blocks. And then now we can drag all this stuff into here. So we have these pages. And then now what we can do, just to show you really quickly, I think you guys will like this. Or we call it sync blocks. Actually, I think they're called sync blocks now. But basically, for example, how to get our space, you know, um, how to get to our space, we're going to turn into a synced block. How to get to our space, by bus, by car, by MRT, as an example. And then, I'll just do some information here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but what I wanted to show you is by keeping everything organized like this, you can now just simply copy and sync, right? And then paste it into here. So what we can even do is make this into a toggle. I think a toggle is better. So by bus, by whatever, by car is fine. We're going to make this into a blue background. Let's put a car here as well. So what happens now is if I copy and sync this, I can just paste this here. And then you can always find out how to get to our space just like here. And then directory concerns can always be found of the house. For example, we talked just earlier about, what we have at home in terms of entertainment. So what entertainment we have at home. So as an example here, we might have board games. So we have Ticket to Ride, Exploding Kittens. We have Monopoly, but does that really count as a board game? I joke. Monopoly. We have Scrabble. And other stuff, right? So I think this is really cool where we have just a really clean way to see all the information and keep it sorted. So again, we can turn this into a sync block. Oops, what's happening? Turn into synced block, copy and sync. Now we can throw it into here. We can throw it into the board game section, right? So we can even just say this is what board games we have at home. So this is just purely the board game stuff we have at home. So this becomes very, very clear. These are the information. Again, it's all about making things templatized so that the admin cost is less for you to do things and you can do more fun things, right? Just imagine if you want to invite people to hang out to your house, all you have to do is just, make a new hangout and then everything's just planned. You can set it up. You can set up even an invite list as an example, right? Especially now, especially in Singapore, for example, we have restrictions. We can only invite 5 people at a time, right? So, who are the 5 people being invited? which day is it on, right? So day of, so Hangouts day. So we can put a date on here as well. We can say who's the invite list. So we can add things like the invite list. So things like that I think is really important and I think it's really cool. And if people can have just a page where they can see everything they need, I mean, that just makes it so easy, right? So another thing is like guest Wi-Fi, for example. So guest Wi-Fi, uh, how to connect to Wi-Fi. And then we have the SSID information, we have the password, you know, so just like that, we have Wi-Fi, or let's call this one, let's use a globe, I think. How to connect to Wi-Fi, and then this is, maybe we can make it green. And then again, we turn it into a synced block, copy and sync, and then we can just paste it into here. Perfect. And then we can just have like a really cool breakdown. All right. So I think we have pretty much a lot of the things I wanted to get done here. The main thing you want to do also is make sure that you have, so my practice is I like to have everything on a need to know basis. So if someone is coming to our place, that's when I will keep that page shared. So only that specific page. And then from there, be able to see everything else. So as an example, right, let's say again, I made this dinner and it's currently in the planning phase, right? So I'm planning it for, maybe tomorrow. And I'm using the new Hangouts template. So I see a lot of stuff in here. I'm going to share this and I'm going to share this link, right? I'm going to not allow duplicating. I'll allow comments just in case someone wants to add comments. I'll paste it. I'll send them the link, right? The link is shared. But then you'll see the sync blocks don't show up because the sync blocks need actually to be shared by themselves. So what we can do here is make sure that entire sync blocks database is shared. So it is shared publicly, right? So what happens is once that's shared publicly, I can refresh this page and then I'll see all these as well open up really easily. And as the person that's seeing this page, I won't accidentally be able to see the master. I will just see the things I need to see because that's what's being shared in this page. So I think that's really cool. I think that's something that's definitely really easy and really awesome to share. And this template will just keep growing. Like for example, ours now grows as like, hey, if someone's coming in the afternoon, what are the considerations, right? What are the potential things that we can do that you can only do in the afternoon versus other times? So yeah, this makes it just really easy for you to like hang out with people as well. Again, the whole point is you're just trying to make sure, living and working with other people is as easy as possible. So something like that I think is very cool. And of course, if you have an onboarding checklist, you can have stuff like offboarding, right? Just a checklist of, what to do when you're leaving the house. How can you make sure that you're respectful of everything that's kept there? How do you get back your deposit? Stuff like that. So those are all things that I've also been able to create and be able to share with people. So definitely build your own thing. I think it's really cool. Again, always have the idea that there is going to be a public side of it and a private side of it. And if you want to, at some point, you can even turn it into a website, right? You can, if you didn't have a website of your own, like we did, you can definitely even just make your own website with Notion and then have that information be the shareable information for other people so that, you can share about your home, however you'd like. Yeah, just whatever you'd like to do. I think it's really fun. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found this meaningful and useful. I definitely like building it because I needed this for myself as well, and really wanted to show you guys how this all works because I think it's just really cool, and hopefully you guys learned a lot from that. So aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We have a lot of stuff upcoming in the community, so do join us in the community. To join us for interesting events where you'll learn about a lot of stuff. You'll chat with a lot of cool people. You have meaningful discussions and never have to struggle alone. Anyways, that's it from me.